The first time you got me to go live on the show, so
I know. So
it's live now.
I'll let you know when it says live.
It just did. It said it on my screen.
It doesn't say it on my screen. Yes, it does. Now my suspenders are all twisted. Okay. Am I embarrassing you? Now my
No.
suspenders are inside out.
Oh my goodness, Joe, get your suspenders right. You
Oh
see,
no, we can't do this without the right suspenders.
they've got to
Okay.
be
Okay,
all
that's
right.
it. All right. Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown. Where am I, Elizabeth? I'm in Bethpage, Long Island, New York. I'm sorry, I just moved from Flushing, so I've been saying Flushing for like 2 years now. So it's like I gotta change my habits. Anyway, tonight we have a special program. As you can see, I coaxed my favorite executive VA, Elizabeth Frederick, who happens to be an attorney, to come on live with me. She doesn't like doing this, right, Elizabeth?
This is not my favorite cup of tea, I have to admit,
Yeah.
because we're live. I feel like I give away all my secrets when we're live, and I like to hide them for
Well,
Zoom meetings where we get email addresses and we build our list and all that jazz.
yeah, well, if they sign up for our workshop, which is why I'm interviewing you tonight, we will get their emails, and then they can get prizes and awards and play Jeopardy with us on Saturdays. But this is the second time we're doing this workshop, and the only reason is because the first one was really a success. We got a lot of good information, a lot of great feedback. If you don't know, the workshop is on finding free money, raising money through getting grants, nonprofits, and crowdfunding, which I never really knew that much about, to be honest with you, until we started getting clients that were getting free money. And my friend Elizabeth here, yeah, you think it's funny. My friend Elizabeth here actually knew how to do this. She was keeping it from me. She never told me. So I said, well, if you know how to do this, why don't you get some money for us and see if we could get money for our clients? And long story short, we're doing that now. We have this grant journal. We have a program, and that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Not so much our program, but the unbelievable opportunities that are out there for everybody that owns a business. So did I cover it, Elizabeth?
You did, Joe. And look, I am not only in the chat, but I'm also live and I'm trying to put the links at the same time. I don't know
Yeah,
how
don't
you're
worry.
able to do that.
I took care of that. I'm starting to get on top of my game because I'm doing the 75 hard thing. I've actually been doing it for tomorrow will be the 11th day, but it's only going to be 7 officially. So, I've been
You
putting the
keep
work.
restarting because you miss
No,
something and then you go
okay.
again. And I think that's part of the reason why I don't always share all the things that I know how to do because I want to make sure that it works. I don't just all of a
Oh, well,
sudden start advertising a whole bunch of things that I'm not sure are going to work.
so and then we're getting off the topic now, but since I brought it up, the 75 hard is amazing. It's like really training your brain to be disciplined, and I lack discipline. That's one of my core beliefs is to be, have habits and discipline. Anyway, you got to do like 5 simple things: drink a gallon of water, exercise twice a day, take a picture of your progress. You can't eat junk. You got to have a diet. So the first day I ate a cookie, not knowing that you can't eat cookies. So the first day, so I had to start over. On the 5th day, I realized that I forgot to take the picture. And if you do one thing and they're like, listen, it's all on you. Nobody's like watching you. And I'm like, somebody must be watching me. So if I lie about this, I'm going to pay for it. So I had to start over again.
I know that I'm paying attention, Joe. And Jose Escobar of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, he's done 75 hard and he's done it twice.
I
So,
connected with him. I think we went. I got to go back to that because I want to interview him about it. But I think like after I've done it, and to be honest with you, to be transparent, the only reason why I'm posting it on Facebook is because every day I wake up and I don't want to walk 3 miles at 6 a.m. I'm like, but what am I going to tell all the people on Facebook that I quit? And Larry Broughton, I don't want to tell Larry Broughton I quit. So, hopefully I don't have to go back to step one again. But if I do, that's the way it is. It's called 75 hard, not 75 easy.
well, hopefully
So,
you're not 75 by the time you're done with it.
thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for having faith in me.
Always, always.
So, okay, I hear the poltergeist back there. So let's give us some like tidbits about what you're going to be covering, and I'll be over there picking your brain and asking questions. So what are we going to be covering?
So some of the things that we cover is telling your story. I give a rapid list of different opportunities that you can apply for. So many that I hope that it encourages you to sign up because we actually want to go through more of them. What else do we wind up doing? We, we play so all the different things that I teach. We then play a game of Jeopardy, and Jeopardy makes it so I ask you questions and you give me answers, right? Because I don't really know the answers, but then it makes it so I know that everybody's paying attention and they're following along.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and that's what we do in the mastermind. I love Jeopardy.
we do that in
Yeah.
the mastermind as well. It makes it so you can win prizes like these cool necklaces from Baskets and Beads Kenya. And what else am I going to be teaching?
Well,
I,
the whole thing is we're going to have fun doing this, right? We always have fun.
I think
Uh,
so. Like when you're trying to promote things, it sounds like we're gonna like give a list of you've got to do this, that,
well,
and the other thing. But we definitely do a game that's called Did You Know? And did you know that there is money available for you that is hidden? Now, it's hidden in government websites, it's hidden in business to business opportunities, and it's also hidden in nonprofit opportunities. There's some people who, if they hear your story the right way, they will just give you money. It's called crowdfunding, and we'll cover crowdfunding too. Uh, what else, Joe?
Yeah.
You got to
So
keep me
yeah,
going.
so when I started, and the reason why we got into this, it wasn't just oh, let's do something different, because we're looking for creative ways to help our clients generate revenue. And if the government or some company is going to invest in us, uh, we got to take advantage of that. And we have the staff, we have the team. It's not only you. If it was only you, you'd be swamped with just doing all the research. But we have, Corrine, Luz, Tisha. They can all do research, and I don't know if there's so much hidden. They're out there. If you, what is it, governmentgrants.com?
Uh, the actual website, I can list the
I
website
mean,
in the chat, but
there's
yeah,
there's a bunch of websites, and that's the problem. They're not hidden, but if one person tries to do this, it's like, and I know people that tried to do it. It's like a never-ending research project. So what we're doing is we're cutting out all of that time for people with our program, correct?
we do cut out a lot of the time for that because each month, Luz, Tisha, Janine, Kareen, myself, even Susan Shepherd is getting down on playing with creating articles for our Bedrock Business Builders funding journal. And that is really the goal of all of it. And we not only list the opportunities, but we also explain them. We give very specific information on how to apply to them. And then if you're part of the grants funding program with Red Rock Business Builders, you get meetings with me, you get meetings with Susan Shepard, you'll get a meeting with you. We're very hands on. And then that's where the beauty of the mastermind on Saturday at 2 p.m., everybody, is that you get to pick our brains because you get to ask a burning business question, you get to talk about things that you want to talk about. I don't know. Some people have gone on and ranted and raved, but you know what? That's the benefit of the collective, like the business mind hive, is they reel them back in and they make it so they focus. So the workshop on Tuesday is specifically geared towards grants and finding that information because you told me that we needed to show you the money.
Yeah, and you showed me the money, and I didn't ask you to do this. You just sent me like an email saying, "Oh, you might qualify for this," and it was the New York City rent grant, and I was like, "Okay, I'll do this." And it wasn't that, it was an application. Maybe it took me an hour, and then maybe another hour of following up because New York City is messed up. They lost my first application. I waited a month and a half, and because that's what they told me, and I called up and they're like, "We don't have any record." And I said, "Well, how did I get a number then?" But here's the good news. I applied for this, and it's to pay, help New York City residents pay their rent, right?
Yes.
And so I'm driving after I found out they lost my application. I'm like, forget this. I'm driving and I hear that New York City is about to lose $2 billion worth of federal money if they don't give this money away.
That's
So
true, Joe. So, and I'll give a little tidbit right now that
yeah,
I was going to save just for the workshop, but I can tell you, and it goes towards your experience, but it doesn't go to your towards your experience directly, but it has to do with the grant that you applied for. And the grant that you applied for renters is that if you were given unemployment during the time of the pandemic, you actually automatically qualify for that renters grant. And it has
wow,
you have to work with your landlord to do it, but if you're about to lose your unemployment right now because it's going to end at the beginning of September and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh my goodness, I've got all this rent that's due," you can actually go in and you can apply for rentals assistance and you can say that I had unemployment and then you'll qualify for it's like a leg up if that makes sense because
yeah.
they did give a lot of money away during that whole time, and it was not only for businesses, but it was also for people. So knowing how to find that money is crucial.
The funny thing is, and I'm going to be transparent here, I stopped paying my rent for a couple of months because of when COVID hit. Because I said, well, they're not going to throw me out, and maybe there'll be some kind of aid down the road. Because I just didn't. It was like and I said, well, if nothing comes up, I'll pay it. I'll just pay the back rent, and I'll be done with it. Uh, and I'm like, man, if I could get that money, that's like a godsend. And it came from I was praying,
Well, I
but
think there's a saying that when you ask for something, you're more likely to get it, and God is always there to provide. But then the other caveat to that grant in particular is that if the landlord does accept that government money for back rent, they then can't necessarily evict anybody. I think it's a whole year after they receive that money.
wow. Well,
Yeah,
that's
so
not. Well, the good thing is that because I called my landlord, I said, "Listen, you're going to get paid for the back rent if I got to pay you, or they're going to get it from." And they were like, "Oh no, no, just give us the number," and because now they're getting the money, and that was the idea. They're not only helping people that were affected, but now the landlords are getting probably billions of dollars in back rent
well, yeah,
that
it
they
does give
didn't
the
have.
landlord the leg up because it goes directly to the landlord, and then this is where you're a godsend to a landlord because you didn't stay there. You went and you moved to Long Island to be closer to your kids, so it was a blessing in disguise, don't you know? And
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
And
and I've been upfront with the landlord from the beginning. It's never been a problem. Uh, they let me out of my lease, and it was just the circumstances. When COVID hit, it was like it affected everybody. And, there were people in my building that just moved out. They didn't pay their rent. They just moved out. They don't know where to find them. That's not right. But, and I don't know.
I
I
know
feel,
that when you work towards something and you're persistent about it, whether it be grants or building your business or figuring out what you offer people, you're more likely to achieve it. So, and that's what the community of Bedrock Business Builders is always doing, is we're always working towards achieving what we want and our goals, whether it be finding the money, creating your business, incorporating, just doing your basic bookkeeping gives you the leg up, because then you've got a firmer understanding, or you know more of what you're dealing with. A lot of times
yeah.
you'll avoid it, and avoiding it isn't a good thing.
So, another thing about the grants is you got to have a real business. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going into business. I want." It's like you got to have an established business with a website. Like you said, you have to have a story. So now, one thing I learned about this is businesses can get grants, for-profit businesses, right?
Hmm.
Okay, and they can do crowdfunding. But if you're a nonprofit, you got a much better chance at getting a grant. Is that correct?
See, this is where I like to think that both businesses and nonprofits wind up standing on the same foothold with their possibilities, and it all depends on how you're looking and how you're representing yourself. But yeah, as a nonprofit, the idea of nonprofits are that you're going to seek out more grants, you're going to seek out donations, you're going to make it so people are sponsoring your business. But I don't want people to be confused where nonprofits, they're beneficial, but nonprofits run best, or they're most successful when they still run like a business. And sometimes businesses run best when they run like nonprofits. So it's having a mixture of both that
Yeah.
really is beneficial. It's the mindset. And then the
Yeah.
structure, of course, is always helpful.
Yeah, I just realized something. It's like I answered my own question when I said that, because it's not that you're a business. What I think you got to show them, the people giving the grants, is that you're making a difference, especially like in your own community, right?
That's what really helps, is the story. It's showing that you are providing a service for others. And this is where when people serve themselves, or actually reverse that, it's when people serve others, they actually serve themselves. And that's what they need to show in that story, that they're providing a benefit for other individuals. That's what people get behind.
Yeah. So like for us, we help people. A lot of them have very little or no money, literally, that they don't even have enough money to incorporate. And it does cost some money when you go into business. It's got to come from somewhere. And we've had clients that said, I'll save $100 for 6 months and then I'll do it. It's almost heartbreaking. So I want to apply for grants, so that we get that money. And when somebody comes to us like that, we could say, "Hey, we already have the money for you." Does that sound logical?
That is logical, because then it takes a lot of the weight off of the beginning business owner to, and it also makes it so they can have a legal structure right from the beginning, and they're not questioning themselves. If if you start with that firm foundation, you're much stress is relieved. You're not as
Oh,
anxious.
yeah.
Like it is a joy to be able to help individuals do that. So by Bedrock Business Builders seeking out grants or getting other people to sponsor the start of other people's businesses, that's a good thing too, and that's completely realistic. In fact, venture capitalists are doing that all the time.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah. They're
Cool.
just sometimes they're saying that they want a piece of your business though. And I don't think
Uh,
Bedrock Business Builders is doing that. We're
well,
just
but
saying we want to help you. They're
that's their business. Why else would they risk their money?
Mhm.
But yeah, it is all about service. I learned that a while ago. It's hard to implement it though when you're like, I was in the accounting business, and I always said, how can I serve people as an accountant? besides just saving some people money on their taxes, right? So that's why we started Bedrock Business Builders, because it's been, a whole different platform. We don't just do bookkeeping and accounting anymore. We do masterminds, we do interviews, we have a podcast, we have a YouTube channel. It's nothing like it was 20 years ago as an accountant, Elizabeth.
No, you wind up teaching a lot, actually, Joe. So if people wind up watching the past episodes of Bedrock Business Builders, you could potentially learn how to incorporate your business. What is that section that I really like, and how do you apply it when you're writing off your business expenses? Because you'll learn that too. All of the past episodes where you're speaking, you're actually teaching. And I think that's one of the benefits of working with individuals who have been in business for a long time or they're experts in their field. And especially when you're doing these types of videos.
Yes. So listen, I know you have some poltergeist waiting for you to put them to bed.
It is
Yeah.
totally bedtime, Joe. This is why, America's Supermom, she talked earlier about going live even when in the midst of chaos, right? So I'm not so good at it, but each day I get a little bit better, especially as my
Uh,
youngest is calling out my name right now, right? Because it is totally bedtime, and we're going to have to see everybody tomorrow from, I believe it's 1 to 3 Eastern Standard Time. The link is totally in the chat. Oh my goodness gracious.
Maybe we could get a grant for a babysitter.
You, there is child tax
Hey, Bella.
credits for a babysitter, and
Yes.
now
Hi,
see
Bella.
Bella's live too.
All right, Elizabeth. Thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Bye,
Over
Joe.
and
We're
out.
gonna do snack and go to bed.
Okay, that's our story. We're sticking with it, folks. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.